Hey guys, my name is Matthew, and this is my COM 100 informative speech on Pilot Air. So to start off, how many of you guys have flown on an airplane before? Show of hands. Yeah, probably most of you guys, since air travel is pretty common nowadays. So now another or a show of hands. How many of you guys think the most common factor in plane crashes is just like engine failure or something? How many of you guys think it's that? Or how many of you guys think it's like the wings falling off or something? Well, you guys would be surprised. A majority of all aircraft accidents are caused by pilot error. And I'm going to be talking about more about that today. So a little bit about me. So my name is Matthew Rogers. I am a student at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University up in Prescott, and I'm currently working on my commercial pilot certificate. And it's in my free time. I enjoy flying out to lunch to get some $100 hamburgers, and I love aviation. I'm super passionate about it. So today our topic is going to be human errors in aviation. We're going to be talking about what pilot error is, the accidents involving pilot error, and what the FAA is doing to curb pilot error. So to start off, what is pilot error? It describes an accident in which an action or decision made by the pilot was the cause or a contributing factor that led to the accident. And this also includes the pilot's failure to make a correct decision or take proper action. So basically, it's a wide envelope for anything that is done by the pilot like incorrectly that led to the accident can be defined as pilot error. And a lot of the times in accidents involving pilot error, it's usually not one sole decision that causes the whole accident. It's generally a chain of events that lead up to the main accident. And generally with pilot error, the pilot's most susceptible to it. They generally have some hazardous attitudes, and the FAA has come up with 6 hazardous attitudes. The first one being anti-authority, so you don't like following the rules. Impulsivity, it's you generally like don't think through things. Invulnerability, they're like, oh, I'm fine, it's not gonna happen to me, I'm okay. Macho, where it's like you have an ego, you're like, oh yeah, I could do it, oh, I like a challenge. And resignation, you're like, just give up, you're like, oh, I give up, I'm just gonna crash anyways. Those are like some of the hazardous attitudes. And a famous crash accident that happened with pilot error was United Airlines Flight 173. It happened on December 28th, 1978. And it was a Douglas DC-8 flying from New York to Portland. And it ran out of fuel 5 miles short of the runway in Portland. And there are 10 people that died, and there are 179 survivors. So what happened in this accident? So let me move this over here. Can I use my mouse? So what happened is, as the pilots were approaching Portland, the captain called to put the gear down, but the gear indicator lights are all red, showing that there is a problem with the landing gear. So the captain started to freak out, and he asked for an orbit around Portland to try and diagnose what the problem was. And he just circled there for like over like an hour and a half. And as he is circling, he's trying to get the cabin all ready, tell the flight attendants to prepare the cabin for potentially an emergency landing. And while that was happening, the first officer and the flight engineer told the captain, like, hey, sir, we're running low on fuel. We really need to be doing something. And the captain kind of brushed him off and said, don't tell me what to do. I'm the captain. I know what I'm doing. And the first officer and flight engineer said, oh, well, fine. You're the captain. You know what you're doing, even though we're going to crash. And eventually the captain then realized that, yeah, they were kind of running low on fuel, and turned back to Portland, and he ran out of fuel and crashed into a neighborhood. And this crash was a monumental turning point in aviation safety and crew training. And then what the FAA is doing to curb pilot error. Because of United 173, United Airlines trained how they train their pilots, and the FAA really liked that and implemented it into all stages of flight training for pilots. Uh, they some of this includes like risk management, trying to see if you, the pilot, are safe to fly, and if your aircraft is safe to fly. Also includes the FAA Wings program, which is an online education tool that promotes safety through education, and it's free, by the way. And in conclusion, today we learned about what pilot error is, accidents involving pilot error, and what the FAA is doing to curb pilot error. So do you guys have any questions at all? No? Well, it's thank you so much for listening today and learning more about pilot error.